Hey, welcome back to another live Living Well episode. As we normally do, before I dive into the topic that I have for this week, I would like to say if you like to know one or two things about this community, Life for Living Well, you can check it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. And you can also sign up for our weekly newsletter, and every time we publish the blog, we do publish of the article once a week. You'll be the first person to receive it. And if you miss any of this Tuesday podcast, you can also find it on our website, the last three podcast, so you can replay it from it. And let's dive in without taking much of your time, as I really want to meet the time that's set for this podcast. This week, the topic I'm looking at is what I call the boundless. So you may be wonder, what did I mean by boundless? But by the time we get to the bottom of it, by the time we finish it, everything will come together. So we normally take one individual quote and use it as an open statement for the podcast, and then we can build around it. So for this particular topic, I'm taking from Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So put it this way. The human body has limitations. The human spirit is boundless. And you cannot disagree with Jean on this one. Why? Because we've seen it many times. We write up a person, many times we write up a situation. Because of that inability of ourselves to weigh their persistence, to weigh their determination, to weigh their drive, we just look at them, and based on what we can see, and we cannot see more than the physical space and this little space that we spend with them, we decided to play fate or God by predate what may happen to them just because of our own limitation or perspective of them. But I'm telling you today, if anyone have told you you cannot do a thing, if anyone have told you that you're not smart enough, if anyone have told you that you're not good enough for them, remember, those words only have power when you yourself think that way by yourself. But if you're a kind of person that understand your strength and your weakness, and you're willing to work on your weakness, and you can turn your weakness to your strength, no one can really predict your future except you yourself have the ability to predict that. So why did I say that? You say, so what are we talking about? So woman physical space has its limit, but our imagination is boundless. So when we talk about boundless state, is the human being, is our imaginations, how we use it to create solutions, how we use it to innovate, how we use it to get to where we want to be. When we have a capacity to think, when we have a capacity to change our mind, we also have a superpower to change our future. So you might wonder why more people don't fully embrace this potential. I do. I do think that what is it that making many people not using it? Imagination can be naturally activated in several ways, and we're going to look at those words, and we're going to talk mostly about the benefit associated when we expand our mind. One of the cheapest way and the easiest way is to read wide about different subjects, different topics. It takes you to the places that you don't want to be or where you never thought you could be. And you don't always have to finish the book. If you pick up the book and you keep reading it and you get to the point that you don't really enjoy it, you just have to leave it and look for another one. But embark yourself in so many different topics and areas where you can grow your mind. You will not be surprised how many things that we consume, not the food, the information information rubbish that we consume that also limited us in so many ways. Unless we start playing features into this, we are not going to be in the best shape, best position to take advantage of the boundless ability our mind have. So, why the physical body is inherently limited? The mind knows no bound. And it's only when you use it, then you begin to see the power of this message. Those who learn to expand their thought beyond physical limitations are also the people that so many times unlock incredible potential. Have you ever seen a C student in your class end up becoming the employer of A student? So have you ever asked yourself, why is that? Why A students are so brilliant in define knowledge, and the C's are the people that are able to take risk, courage, and face it, and don't be afraid of failings, and then suddenly they find the key to the creating the life that they want, and they employ a student to make you work, to keep you running. So I'm saying that you yourself have the same mind, have the same heart, and how you use it that really determine the true success that you want. So take a moment to observe the sky and its vast, boundless clouds. If you travel by the road, it's easy to see so many bands, so many limitations, so many barriers, so many gates. But if you look into the sky, look at the clouds, you'll be surprised that it has no name, it has no country. It's vast across the world. So often we confine ourselves to our current problems and challenges. We cannot able to imagine beyond it. Our limitation also limited our thinking, and that should not be. Even though our problem is just at that moment, it's difficult when you don't allow your mind to dream, to innovate, to imagine things in a way where it can bring so many options, so many solutions to you, can turn your current challenges to a stepping stone, can make your difficulties become a source of empowerment for you in many other areas. So, in the worst cases, a limited mindset creates more problems than the original issues. Have you met someone that their car broke down and they think it's the end of the world? They catastrophize the problem beyond the actual problem. Have you met someone have you ever wondered why some people, the marriage break down, relationship break down, they lost their job, and they begin to devote themselves in self-destruction, maybe consuming too much alcohol, going to the betting, or entertaining drugs. So they got so low beyond the actual event in their life to the point that it takes them a lot of time to come up again. Why we women always do this? Because we do it a lot. You might not know the person that have done it. You might have read it in the newspaper or even see it on the news. So why is this? And why some people use their imagination to pave a new path, taking responsibility and divide the solution to the current challenges. So let your imagination guide you. What seems like an obstacle can become the way forward when you approach it with a boundless, creative mindset. Don't limit yourself to your current problem. Don't limit yourself to current circumstances you find yourself right now. Where you are right now, you might not be happy about it, but I'm telling you that this time will pass. It will pass. But what will happen is that you might not have the opportunity to use similar experience again to build yourself in a way that will project you to where you want to be. So many writers, both ancient and modern, share a common belief. And what is that belief? The belief that you become what you think. And this is the common thing in all those writers. That if you think that you are nothing, you are nothing. If you think you are something, you are something. So not when somebody tells you that they think you are not good, and that means you are not good. No. That is their perception, and their perception is limited to their own bias experience. And even though you are not good at those things right now, it does not define you that you cannot be good on it if you take effort, hour, and courage that require to train yourself, to bring yourself by practice. I've seen this many times, that people that you write off, the moment they change a page in their book, they actually become more better than the people that wrote them off. Not everybody will lift you up, and not everybody should lift you up. You should be the driver, engineer of your own life. And it comes from knowing what you want and do the rightful thing. What are the rightful things? Take responsibility and bring your mind to it and make it happen. So let's say the benefit of imagination. What happens when we entertain imagination in our mind? And I make it like a bullet point. So number one, mental health. Your mental health, you will begin to reduce stress. Not only reduce stress, it will help you managing anxiety and focus on positive images. I once met a acquaintance many years ago in Portugal as we walking through the tourist area. So she asked me to help her take some picture, and then we end up spending the whole afternoon. I find out that she's planning to travel to South America, and she just stopped briefly in Spain to pick up the Spanish language, and she was travel to find herself. And one of the things she told me is that you don't need to take a picture. And I said, how are you going to remember all those things? Because you're not going to be coming here every time. She said you can use the camera you already have within your mind. Look at it, close your eyes, and just snap it, and it will be in your heart. So meaning that being present into what you are doing at that moment. How many times you take a picture that you have not even seen the picture that you took again for many years, but you just give it there in case you will need it. And he said, spend more time, focus more energy into absorb your current experience now rather than retain it with the devices. And another thing she mentioned to me is that when the life serve you desert that you don't want, maybe you lost a job, maybe the relationship broke down, maybe you lost a potential client, maybe the business is struggling, whatever thing that you're going through right now, she said, change your glasses because you are using one glasses to looking at that alone. All you can do is to change their glasses to look to other things because no matter how things will go in our life, if you are being sincere and you can look into what is also going right in your life, it might not as bad as you are making it up. But as a human nature, we tend to gravitate to what is not really working well in our life. That's why the negative news sell more than the positive news. That's where sales about how to triple your income sell more than how to budgeting your money. Why? Because it taps to your greed, it taps to something that go beyond, which is fear and greediness, lack of not having enough. So when you entertain imagination to everything in your life, you begin to realize that how boundless is your mind is. And that imagination will help improve the mental health. It fosters positive emotions, even boost immune systems. So, and what I'm trying to say is that you reduce the amount of time the negative emotion comes. I'm not loving, nobody love me, I'm not wanted. All this kind of emotion is not going to help you. It's going to cause more problem for you, short time and long time. When it's not handled properly, when it comes, absorb it and know how to let it go rather than retain it forever in your life. Number 2, problem solving. So imagination encourages alternative ways of thinking. Oh, this happened, maybe I can do this. Why I can do it? Maybe I haven't tried, let me give it a try. So helping you overcome obstacles in school, in work, and social situations, and you will have so many challenges. You have the challenges that you created by your own choices. You will have the challenges created by others. You will also have the challenges that are created by nature that you have no control over it. You have no control about the problem the other created, the nature created, but you have control how you imagine the solution out of it, not dreaming, but imagination. And the next one that I wrote down in my list is goal achievement. Dreaming about your successes and envisioning the steps to achieve your goals can make them more attainable. I get a lot done when I think a lot about it, to the point that when I wake up, I want to take the action about it, and I do take the actions. And those actions comes for days, weeks that it was on my mind like a pregnant woman. Until you give the birth to it, you become restless. You write it down, you imagine it, you plan it, you think, you take a steps. Whether you require to pay for someone to train you, to mentor you, whether to get a book to read, whether to even go back to the class to study it. And then put those things into actions. It's not enough to read things, to learn things, to have pay somebody to mentor you, and then you refuse to take actions. So the next one is empathy. You know, one of the superpower we can develop as people is our emotional intelligence. And the quickest way to put yourself into other people's shoes is to imagine it. And you can only do that when you are not self-obsessed about yourself, about your problem, thinking like everybody is thinking about you. You're thinking about yourself. And you think if they can't help you, then they don't love you and then you cannot be with them. That is very childish and self-absorbed way of thinking. But if you imagine a situation you saw on the TV and you read in the newspaper of someone that lost a job, it is very easy to imagine that what happened if it happened to me. And I have a family and I have people that depends on me and I have things that I do every month. How am I going to do that? It triggered the empathy, even not knowing the person. And not only that, he also asks you to do the rightful thing, to say, if our car broke down, if you have a need to make emergency stuff at home, and it's going to cost £1,000, do we have £1,000? What can we do to build a reserve of 3 months, 6 months that will support us in case this happens? Because if something happens to one person, it can happen to you as well. So look at the IT world today. There's so many people that are getting laid off because the businesses are struggling themselves. And these are the pattern in this industry, that there will be a season that the company will overemploy. There will be also a season when the company will shed staff. Because you are secure with your job, you should be more grateful, but also not just take your eyes away from it. Use the opportunity to do the rightful things if you can, to not put yourself and your family in more vulnerable position. So imagination allow you to put yourself in another person's shoes, stretching your relationships and bond. Another area that I can say imagination help us is the area of memory. It helps us preserving memories and can help reduce the risk of memory-related issues. What are those? Like dementia. And if you want to see other areas that are listed here, you can find it out on the blog because I'm conscious of the time. And if you go to the blog, there is an article related to this podcast. You can see the list of all the benefits that are listed there. And if you are interested to know more about it. So, final thought. Your mind is boundless. Don't limit yourself because of your physical constraints. Use your imagination to expand your perspective and discover real solutions. It was one Chinese philosopher that said, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. We have so many people that speak today. They offer you their opinion. They think that you're not good enough. They think that you cannot improve. That is their opinion. That is their perspective. You need a variety of perspective. What did you think about yourself? Do you agree with them? Can you improve? And if you can improve, their prediction, their forecast is relevant. And you don't need to change for them, you need to change for yourself. Because being good, being great in what you do is actually good for your self-confidence. And is there any area you struggle as you listen to me right now? Your situation is not hopeless. Change is within you. Power to make difference within you. Imagine the life you want to do and go create it. I hope this message helps someone. Until we catch up next week, please stay safe and have a wonderful week. Ciao.